Here's something most people have never noticed. The high priest of Israel had bells sewn onto his robe. Real, golden bells, hanging at the edge of his garment. And they weren't there for decoration. In Exodus 28 verses 33 to 35, God gave Moses detailed instructions for how the high priest should dress. At the hem of his robe, between little pomegranates made of blue, purple, and scarlet yarn, there were tiny golden bells. But why bells? Why would a priest need to make noise as he walked? Here's the mystery. Once a year, on the Day of Atonement, the high priest would enter the Holy of Holies, the innermost room of the tabernacle, where the Ark of the Covenant rested, and where the very presence of God dwelt. No one else was allowed to go in. If anyone entered uninvited, they would die instantly. So when the high priest stepped behind that thick curtain, the people outside couldn't see him anymore. They could only hear him, the gentle jingling of those tiny bells as he moved before the presence of God. Every sound meant one thing. He was still alive. The atonement was still being made. God had accepted the sacrifice. But imagine if the bells ever stopped ringing. Silence would mean the priest had died in God's presence. His sacrifice unworthy, his body struck down. That's why some traditions say a rope was tied around his ankle. So if he didn't come out, the others could pull him back. It was serious, holy, awe-inspiring. Those bells weren't just ornaments. They were reminders of life, symbols of grace, and access to God's mercy. Each ring of the bell said, "Someone is still standing before the Almighty, on your behalf." And here's the amazing part. Today, we don't need a priest with bells to enter God's presence for us. Through Jesus, our high priest, we have direct access to God's throne of grace. No more fear, no more veil, no more silence. The bells on that robe may have stopped ringing long ago, but their message still echoes. God made a way for man to come near and live. If that touched your heart, hit like, share this with someone who loves Bible mysteries, and subscribe to more powerful hidden truths from Scripture. Thanks for watching.